Good afternoon, this is Jonathan from the National Weather Service in Norman with a video update regarding our severe weather chances this afternoon and overnight. Severe thunderstorm chances will begin late this afternoon and continue through the overnight hours across portions of the region. The greatest risk for severe thunderstorms will exist across portions of far eastern Oklahoma and up onto the Ozark Plateau. However, we expect thunderstorms to develop along a dry line across portions of south central Oklahoma and into southeastern Oklahoma. The greatest risk with these storms will be very large, damaging hail, likely to the size of baseballs and possibly approaching the size of softballs in some places. Of course, the large hail will be highly isolated with those storms, but the potential is there. At the same time, these storms will also be capable of winds in excess of 70 miles an hour. There is a small window for a medium risk of tornadoes across portions of far south central and southeastern Oklahoma. However, that risk will decrease fairly quickly as storms begin to form into a line through the evening and overnight hours. As was just mentioned, there is a risk of tornadoes with the initial activity that may develop along that dry line, primarily across south central and southeastern Oklahoma. There is a possibility that the dry line could push farther east, which would take the Oklahoma City metro out of really any tornado risk with this early activity. So our focus is primarily across that southeastern area of our responsibility. Now there's two scenarios here. If you watch the video from yesterday about the timing of storms, and scenario one suggests we'd see development along the frontal boundary, and after just peeking at radar here at around noon time, there actually was some light showers beginning to develop along our border with Kansas, up north of Ponca City, with some stronger storms farther to the northeast of Oklahoma across eastern Kansas. So we'll have to watch this activity closely as we move through the afternoon hours. Now, really, the risk for severe storms will develop after 5 o'clock with the front, if they do develop, primarily because of the large capping inversion, the giant cap we have over the region, which will inhibit development of thunderstorms. So if that cap if storms are to develop along that front, they will build southward as the front moves southeast across the area, which would put a line of thunderstorms near Oklahoma City, the I-44 corridor, between 7 to 9 time frame, and then continue on through midnight, and the front will continue to push out through the overnight hours through early tomorrow morning. Now, scenario 2 is focused more along that dry line, and most of the recent guidance we look at and kind of our conceptual model in the forecaster's mind is that we'll actually see stuff develop along that dry line across south central and southeastern Oklahoma, maybe as far west as portions of western North Texas. So if that were to occur, that would be a little bit earlier. The cap is very strong, but there's a lot of instability, and if we get just enough forcing from the dry line, we could see storms develop between about 4 to 7 p.m. along that dry line. Not to be overshadowed, we're becoming more concerned about a flooding risk across portions of southeastern Oklahoma. As storms kind of slow overnight along the dry line, and even as the front approaches, we could end up with training thunderstorms, which means storms will just hang out over the area, and locally heavy rainfall could occur. And after last week's heavy rainfall, it's not going to take a lot for flooding issues to crop up. So really pay attention tonight if you have to travel across the southern part of the state, as some roads may be closed due to flooding. Remember, do not drive through flooded roadways. Always turn around. We can't stress that enough. Okay, so I appreciate you sticking around for the video. I know it was a long one, but there's a lot to cover today, especially with it being a holiday weekend. So I hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend, but make sure you stay weather aware. Remember, follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, and check our webpage for the latest forecast graphics and information. And pay attention this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.